Hello, hi, good morning, everyone. It's Marta. It's another day. I have this beautiful paper on my desk. I actually have leftover piece here and another bits from this old paper. And instead of the putting it all away, I've decided to play a little bit more with them. I don't have much time, so I've decided to do kind of a live video class, which is not live. You can watch, whatever day you would like. But if you're watching, grab yourself a cup of coffee and we're gonna be crafting along. I hope anyone will be crafting with me. This is a good way, especially for those of you friends who are just starting. It's easier paced to follow. I'm not gonna be adding any difficult die stamps or anything like that, so everyone can follow, everyone can do whatever I'm doing, and I hope you're gonna have good time. Now I'm starting from taking an A4 size paper and I'm doing the crease line on my scoring board right in the half, like halfway through. The scoring board will help you to prevent your paper from creasing, because sometimes when you gonna fold the paper you can have this ugly creasing. So this way, this will provide you with the guide so your paper will fold nicely. Always remember to score on one side and then put it upside down and fold. This way you have this nice crease, very crisp, and nothing is breaking. Like, I like to go with the bone folder just so I could flatten it up even more. And look on that, we've got beautiful, very straight, nicely looking card. What I like to do for my card is to give them a couple layers, just matting and layering paper like I have here. Where's the other one? I had it before a minute ago. But anyway, I've got two. Oh, here's the third one. So I've got three pieces, and because they are different sizes, I think they will just look nice like a composition. And I also like, this is one thing I really like to do, is to create the tiny mats for my project. And what I like to do is I like to create them with the help of the paper, which is similar. It doesn't have to be, because it's gonna be look nice on the pink as well, so you don't have to use pink for pink, green for green one, but it's enough that the paper and all the color combination is kind of looking, nice and neat all together. And I think it's just, this one is looking good with this one, green with the greenery, and then grayish, this blue, this grayish white color with the white cardstock. So that's what I'm gonna start doing now to create the first matten layer. What I like to do, and this is the best way ever, so you don't have to remember any measuring, never ever again, unless you're doing some pop out card and you need some mechanism. But I've got my card base, I'm placing the paper, trying to see how much border do I like them to be, very skinny, or do I like it to be larger. Is this paper straight? Oh no, it's not, because that was cut from 12 by 12 cardstock. That's why it doesn't look straight. But okay, let's see. Let's say I like my border to be as thick, so that way I'm placing my paper and I am just making two mark line, one here, visually trying to be equal distance, with the same placement from the bottom as I have to the side, and same here to the side as I have on the top. And this way I am making myself two marks. I don't have to be bothered by any measurements or anything like that, and I am good to go. I can now take any type of the cutting tool, whether it's a guillotine or trimmer, whatever you have, and you just have to place them, chop and chop, and here we are. We've got our first mat, and now I'm gonna be adding the front layer up to it. If you work on the design paper, obviously there is direction. Some of the papers, they have direction, so it's up to you whether you would like to have it sideways or this way. Obviously this way is not long enough, so I'm gonna do it that way, but it doesn't matter. It's really up to you. And some papers, when they have like a dot or a busy pattern paper, they usually don't have direction. The only one thing I would be looking for is like here, it's not very visible, but if you've got the font, if you've got some text on the paper, this is something, you know, I would rather watch if I don't have it upside down. But even though few times in the past I did it having my text put upside down, and guess what, nothing happened. And if it's very visible and you already glue it on your card, you can always put some additional embellishment there, and that will be looking nice as well. Here we go. So we have it here, our first mat and layer. Very nice. I like to check it if it's visible. You can always see it the best if you place it on the card base, so then you can see if anything needs a little bit extra chop. But to me it looks good. Now next layer, I have this one, and it's either this one directly or a little bit of that one in front. And I think what I'm gonna do, I will put a little bit of this one. Why not? And if we don't like it, we can then save this piece for another card. And I think this side is looking better, to be honest. It's a little bit more darker, so the pattern will be more visible. So I'm just marking. I've got like around half an inch per miss around, so I'm just leaving myself like a half an inch, and then I am chopping it. Here we go. So this is where I'm gonna cut, and then this piece here, just like that. Boom, boom. If you don't have the guillotine, you can use a trimmer. If you don't have a trimmer, you can use scissor, or you can also buy yourself self-healing mat. And this way, I don't have the mat here, but you can place your ruler and then just like, you know, follow the guide, and that will cut. I don't want to do it too deep because I don't want to cut my desk, but if you just place the knife just like that, and then just like follow the ruler, that should cut easily. You can see. And did I cut underneath? No, luckily no. But anyway, this is what we have for now. And now I would like to create the teeny tiny bit of layer for this card. Which one was this one was hand cut, so I'm making sure I have it right way up, and very thin layer, so that will give me one dot here, one dot here. And you can always keep a razor right next to you, and then once we finish cutting, we can very easily get rid of those pencil marks. And I'm using this very soft pencil rather than the hard one, because they are easy to erase after we finish working. So I have the second base. Here we go. 1, 2, and then we're gonna do a third one, which I will trim a little bit. So I'm gonna keep it like that. And shall I make it equal distance? Let's see. I've got the first layer just like that. Then I'm gonna have another layer just like that. And then the third layer, shall I put it somewhere in the bottom or in a center? Oh, let's do it in a center. Okay, so let's say this one is even fine, so I'm just gonna match up the width of my paper. Hope you can see it. And again, I'm trying to eyeball it, maybe the same distance from the side as I have from here. I'm just making myself a little mark. And now, my friends, here is the fun part. I only had one piece of this green color cardstock, but I would like to have the same border. There's two things I can do. I can either grab more, which I don't have, but I could also save this one. So let's say my card is here, so I need to cut it at least here, 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 and here. And this is the great way I'm gonna show you if you've got trimmer. If you have a trimmer, you're good to go. Let me just grab mine, because this is what you can do. You can place your card just in the position where you need it, and then you take the blade and you then just pierce it and cut it just up till the point where you have to. If you don't have a trimmer, what you can do, you can grab your scissor, make a little bit teeny tiny hole here, and then just cut yourself, and you just go up from the points you just mark. And the reason why I mark myself a points is that this will be covered, or not with that one, but with that one, this will be covered, so no one will ever see that the piece of cardstock is missing underneath. And this way I will have enough space for creating myself this border. I'm gonna do it with the trimmer because it's gonna be faster and quicker. But as I've mentioned, you can also take the ruler, take the X-Acto knife and do exactly the same thing, or scissors if you don't have any cutting tool. So this way you can, you know, help yourself. But with the trimmer, there are some things which are easier to do with the help of the trimmer, which is not gonna be as easy with the guillotine. However, I do prefer guillotine. Guillotine is my good to go tool, and now I'm just creating this border here. And because I was using the trimmer, I could make it more, you know, smaller right to the side, but because I was showing you how to use the scissors, I rather save myself some additional extra space, which I am now cutting off, and I have this perfect piece here. Now, to save even more paper, I'm just gonna take a trimmer, boom, make sure they're kind of I don't measure anything, I'm just placing it just like that, random place, and trying to, you know, match up the cutting line, and then take the scissors if they didn't cut all the way through, and then just save myself another piece, which will be very handy to create our greenery. So I have the first layer, second one, and the third one. And of course, never waste too much paper, especially if you're new to a card making. All the supplies is gold. But then on the other hand, do not do the same mistake as I did. When I was beginner, I was basically paralyzed to cut my favorite papers, to play with them, to create something out of it, because I was like, oh no, what if I destroy it? Now, after years, I'm just way more, you know, open up for new possibilities, for new chances to try out new things and things like that. So, okay, we've got it. Now, let's put the layers together. I've got 3 frames, 3 layers, and to make it faster, I'm gonna use this double-sided tape. So this way, that will give me this nice professional look. I am putting my tape all around 4 edges. It's not triangle, Marta. But anyway, I hope this day, which we spent together crafting and hoping along, it's gonna be something nice. You will hearing me chit chat rather than have full edited video. I don't know, I think I've decided to do a little trial before hopping back to the live classes, which I am missing very much, and I am looking forward to it for a month now. Why you not working? Of course, if we live, the glue gets stuck. No other day. I'm not live, but I'm kind of performing like I would be having a live class. Anyway, dash of glue. I've got too much here, so I'm just gonna scoop it with my finger, just a teeny tiny bit, just so you have some room to wiggle. And then I'm save it for later. I'm placing the paper with the corners. The rest of the adhesive is still covered with the release paper, and now I am just wiggling until I have the perfect position. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, this desk cover, which is like a dark color wallpaper, if anyone is curious. This is just a wallpaper. It's too dark. I should choose something lighter so you could see better, but now once I adhere it here, you will see it. I have this nice border all around. So again, 4 pieces on the sides, and then I am only taking the release paper like maybe like an inch off from the corner, no more. The more you will take it, the less wiggle room you will have. Okay, and then another one, and another one. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I've got this tiny bit of the glue, so I can use it up, and I could adhere my paper, making sure always double check if you've got your card right way up. If you've got this pattern which will be like, which is the like direction oriented, and then place it, and once you hold it, then you take off the release papers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then just go over with your hand and just flatten it up. Now for these two, I just want to raise them a little bit. Oh, this one is nice. Shall I use this one or this one? I don't know. Decision. Maybe this one. Marta. Oh no, I think I like this one even more. Yeah, why not? Change your mind, experiment. You can always create another card with the similar thing you just had in mind, and you know, and redo it the way you want it, and that way you will have 2 cards plus the knowledge of, you know, what you can do. No, I wanted to use the embossing folder, but I don't have any on hand, of course. I'm not prepared. So what I'm gonna do, this is the very old trick, many of my friends know it, and I quite like it. I use it over and over again. Hey, I'm gonna do the strips, half an inch, every half an inch. This is a nice thin paper, so they will be looking nice, and I'm just following the scoring board just here and there. Every half an inch I'm making this line, scoring line. If you work on a thin paper, press firmly but not too hard, because you do not want to, you know, make a hole in your panel, because sometimes if you press too hard you can destroy the paper. But if your scoring tool is making the holes, you can try to see if you can buy another one, because I'll give you example. This is from Arteza and it's quite rounded, and I have the same one matching with this Marta Stewart. It is brilliant for any thicker cardstock, but on a very thin cardstock it can sometimes create the hole, like the incision is too deep. so I prefer to use this one, which is a little bit rounder. But anyway, that's good. If you don't have the scoring tool, scoring board and scoring tool, you can take a piece of the sponge or material, put the ruler, and then follow with this little teeny tiny tool, if you have one, or that could be a pen which is no longer working, so you're not gonna make your line with the pen, but that will give you this lovely design. And here we go. I think I'm just gonna trim it a little bit. Is that equal? Oh yeah, that'll do. And I've got this beautiful lovely design, additional interest to my card. And I don't use any embossing folder because, let's say, I don't have die cutting machine or something, or I'm just lazy and I don't want to go to my cabinet and have a look on the tons of the embossing folders I have and try to figure it out which one to use. So you can do this hack and it gives you this nice dimension to your card, something extra, some additional texture and interest to your panel. I would not do it on all panels. I would rather do it on one, or you can do like one panel one way, the other one different way, experiment, or do diagonal line as well. And if you're making elegant card, you can create this like a crisscross lines and then add a teeny tiny pearl in every crossing. Their possibilities are endless. Okay, I've got the glue on the corners, and now I am placing this bit, and because I have liquid adhesive, you can see I can move around this frame, making sure it's all nice and even, and then I am pressing on the corners so the adhesive could, you know, grip. And once I'm happy, I am then taking off the release paper, and that will just, you know, the paper will adhere to the, oh no, oh no, it's a little bit too much here. Okay, now we've got a ta-dam, we've got another layer. Now my friends, I want to raise this layer up, and I'm gonna do so by using the piece of the cardboard, which I don't have on hand, of course, but oh, here we are. Normally I would use double-sided foam tape, but now I am just using up this piece of the cardboard box until I'm done with it, because no point for wasting it, and put it in the recycle bin. Okay, something like that, if we could use it up in our craft room. Okay, just like that, something like that, and then just cut it. Now what I would do, I would then just place one or two pieces of the double-sided tape, so the tape will grip instantly, and then you can take off the release paper, add a tiny bit of the glue in the center to the sides so that won't come off. And if you worry that the liquid glue will warp your paper, it's always a good idea to smear it with your finger, so that way you've got less like a glue blobs and less chances for your paper to get warped. And look on that, that is beautiful. I love this panel, and I'm just gonna adhere it to my card, and we've got dimension on the fraction of price which we would use on the foam tapes and things like that, and it's free, you know, good solution, especially for the beginner's craft, because my friends, I do feel your pain. If you're just starting, you're just feeling first of all, overwhelmed with the different type of the products. And you know, you've got this, you've got stamping, die cutting, coloring, markers, mediums, papers. Oh my gosh, there's even more now than back in the days when I was starting, so I can only imagine how, oh, here's the, how overwhelming that must to feel, having so many supplies to choose and not knowing what to choose. But I'll give you my life advice as someone who's been crafting for more than 10 years. Do not rush to buy something just because you've seen another crafter use it. Many of the crafters, especially popular crafting channels, they do receive tons of goods through their like affiliate design team, a different type of the cooperation. They do receive products for the unboxing video. I'm not saying that they, you know, say like, oh, you know, we've got it for free and you have to buy it. But the thing is, they already have tons of things, and if you're starting, you just don't want to you know, spend too much money, because it may turn out that the things it was looking interesting at the first, you know, glance, it's not something you like to do. For example, I've got ton of the materials for coloring, like markers, alcohol markers, watercolor markers. I'm not really a coloring person, to be honest. I like it. I do enjoy it from time to time, but I'm usually very little time. I'm a person who's constantly like, you know, not having enough time in a day. And for me, sitting down and, you know, coloring something is just not happening very often. And I do feel like I've wasted so much money for the paints, especially those like more expensive kind of a professional grade paints, and these supplies are not super much used in my craft room. Same with the buying the stamps and matching dies with those sets when they are expensive. Some of them, they can be really expensive. And then I remember, and I'm not gonna say a company because it's nothing wrong, it's a beautiful lovely company and they do have beautiful lovely products. It's just, it's not in my style. But when I was starting crafting and I've seen another crafters playing with their products, I was like, oh yeah, I need to have it, I need to have it. And some of them I have for like 8 years or so, and shame to say, they're still in the original packaging. And oh, sorry, that was my alarm, because in few minutes I need to go and I need to wake up my husband, because we're going to town to pick up our son and visit my parents. And yeah, so that will be it. I've got this beautiful layer. Now I'm gonna create something for the topper. And my friends, leaves and flowers. And for my flowers, I want to have some little bit of the pink color paper. Do I have some pink color paper here on the hand? Oh, this one is matching nicely. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab my punch. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Will that do? Possibly. And then I would grab a punch for the leaves if I only had it, but I don't. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut my own leaves, and yes, they may not be perfect, yes, they may not be super, but you'll see that it's easy to do And if you don't have die cutting machine, if you don't have equipment, you can still create a beautiful, lovely cards using what you have on your hand. Not always has to be expensive set. Some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger. I just do those like a migdal shape. Cut one this way, one in another one, and that's it. It's good to have, if you have it, a little bit of the ink. It doesn't have to be any like professional ink. You can sometimes go to the children department and you'll find the inks, like ink pads, they have it. So I would recommend to buy a few, or you can use the paints if you've got the paints, whatever you have, that will be looking nice. And look, here we go, one more and one more, why not? Or if you've got the punch with the leaves, I would use that one definitely. Okay, each one of them is different, and the flowers. And here's what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use a either do I have a sponge? I don't, but if you don't have, oh, that could be it. Is that like a, it's like a makeup sponge. You can either use this one, or you can use the finger dabber or anything else, and then just go over the edges with a darker ink. That could be this olive ink or any other, and then squish it in the middle. So here we go, this way, that way, this makeup sponge, or even rustic wildness, that will be dark as well, or any other. That could be a paint, that could be something else, just so you could add that extra dimension to your leaf. You can see here just a little bit extra something to help them darken up the edges. That will really, you know, make them pop and squish them in the center. There we go, squish them, and then hop, hop. Don't worry about your fingers whenever you've got them dirty with your paints and inks and stuff. That just makes people happier. I think it's scientifically proven that dirty hands, if you handmade something, if you work in a garden, if you work with the crafting materials, whatever you do, like hobby, if you're cooking or baking or something, if you've got your hands covered in something like you do, it's just make your life happier. So get your fingers inky or dirty from paints and enjoy crafting, enjoy making things and being happy. Okay, enough of the motivational pep talk from me, and that will do one and one and one, and then a little bit here, make them splashy. The leaves are never in the same color. Like if you look on a tree, if you look on the plants, they usually splotchy. So I like mine to be splotchy too. You can even use the stamp. If you've got the stamp with some text or busy background, you can always do it as well. And then another side, worn lipstick or anything else for the matter, and then just go over the edges very gently, so you could have the additional dimension. And if it gets splotchy, don't worry, this is nature. Flowers are not, you know, unify as well. They all have their own bits as well, so it's looking more appealing now. Here we go, and then this one Oh my gosh, let me check the um, clock, because I'll have to go in a minute, and because my son is finishing in school, so we have to pick him up. And I've got this little tool. You can go either way, but I like them to go from the back, press the petals, then go to the middle, go from the back, press each petal, and to the side. And if you don't have the tool, you can always use this round piece from your pencils. Some of the pencils, they do have this round bits, and that will be just great. Press it like that. This is a sponge uh, from the cork board, but you can use the sponge from a kitchen or cooking, like cleaning dishes sponge, and that will be great as well. Now, so we've got our bits, and I'm just gonna be adding my composition. And what I like to do, I like to use the hot glue gun. Bear with me, my friends. I'm just gonna go downstairs to wake up my hubby. Okay, I'm back. Of course, I haven't put it on. Why would I? And then another thing is to have some either bits like that. These are too large. So, my friends, I've got some here, some half back pearls. And what I'm gonna do, which I think it will be looking nice, is if we will create ourselves some loop. Okay, I've got this lovely loop, which I'm trying to create kind of a wreath. Is that the correct term? Right in the center. And if you think that should be a little bit larger, oh, then you can just enlarge it with your hands, so it's gonna be fitting here perfectly. So this is what I'm gonna do. I will then squeeze a tiny bit of the glue here, usually 2 or 3 places here, and then a little bit here, just so I could adhere some of them just like that. And now the fun part is to create some floral composition and the sentiment inside. For the sentiment, you can either use anything like printed off on your printer or some ready-made sticker sentiments. Okay, I've got this very, no, I would not say very old, but quite old sentiment. I like this one. Happiness blooms from within. And what I will do, I will then place it on the piece of the cardboard slightly smaller than the quote itself. So I'm just gonna cut myself a teeny tiny bit strip. Is that the same length? And then a little bit narrower. Okay, just like that. And then I am placing it onto this sticker. So I've got this nice, oh, I need to cut a little bit off here, so it's not gonna come off. Oh, look on that. I've got this beautiful quote, happiness blooms from within. And if you don't have the stickers or anything, my friends, you can always use up your printer if you've got the access to the printer. Look on the happiness blooms within. Print the piece, cut it, and then glue it on the pieces of the cardboard, and you will have beautiful beautiful quotes for your cards. I'm just gonna add a couple of the flowers here. Just got 3, and then 2 up here, 1 and 2, and then maybe third one here, why not? Okay, now 1 2 3 4 5. Look on the pearls or anything else. It doesn't have to be half pearls, that could be some buttons, something else. But I just think that the pearls are adding this nice shininess to our card, and something else, you know, some additional texture. And then if I only catch the oh, this one is broken, a little bit more of the hot glue to my piece. The hot glue is also something you can buy in many stores, not necessarily crafty one. If you just go to the shopping center, they have those like different type of the store with toys and things like that. It doesn't have to be professional crafting, you know, crafting equipment store. The hot glue gun is something you can buy very cheap, and this will serve you to many projects. And regardless if you go more into card making, mixed media, whatever trade you will go into, I guarantee to you that hot glue gun is something you'll be using many occasions. So look on that, I'm just filling the space with those handmade leaves, and our beautiful card is start blooming. And no special equipment, no nothing, you know, like expensive dies, expensive gears. It's just basic tools anyone may already have in a house, even if you are not professional crafter. This is something you can create easily, and this way you can start up your adventure with crafting. Or if you already started, this is the idea to use. You can play with your family and friends this way as well. Sit down with your grandchildren or nieces or your children and create something. And this is really the last bit you want to do, is just to fill up the gaps. And what I would recommend, I usually like to do, I like to create more leaves than I actually need, because this way, you know, I don't have to worry, and I can always use them up on the next project. So if I had few more, I would add few more, but because I don't, this is where I'm gonna finish, and my card is ready. I hope you enjoy it. I hope this sparks some joy. It's 45 minutes on my clock, but I think I've got a little break. So this is it. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you shortly on another video tutorial. Have a wonderful day, and of course, if you like it, if that bring you some joy, please share, like, comment, subscribe, and do all this fun stuff. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye bye.